What happens when the most powerful king on earth challenges the God of the universe? When pride sits on a throne and claims divinity? If you swipe away right now, you will miss the shocking truth the ancient world tried to bury. A truth that exposes the rise and destruction of a king who believed he could defeat God himself. But if you stay, you will discover secrets that redefine everything you thought you knew about the pharaohs of Egypt and the God who brought an empire to its knees. Long before pyramids became dusty wonders for tourists, Egypt was the center of the world. Dazzling palaces, unimaginable wealth, and a ruler unlike any other, Pharaoh. To his people, he wasn't just a leader, he was a living god. The son of Ra, the sun god. His command shaped reality, his power was worshipped. His monuments were built to last forever so that time itself would not forget his glory. The Nile River flowed like a divine gift. Its waters made Egypt fertile and unstoppable. And Pharaoh claimed credit for that too. He stood untouchable at the top of the world. But beneath that golden dream, a nation of slaves groaned under the sun, the Hebrews. They refused to bow to Pharaoh as a god. They worshipped someone higher, someone Egypt couldn't see, someone Pharaoh didn't know. Yet their numbers grew, their strength increased. And Pharaoh, for all his supposed divinity, was terrified. His fear birthed cruelty. He shackled the Hebrews under brutal labor. Whips cracked. Bricks were laid. Their tears fed Egypt's pride. But even that wasn't enough for Pharaoh. To protect his throne, he sentenced innocent newborn boys to die, thrown into the Nile, erased before they could grow. It was a reign of terror masked as divine order. But destiny doesn't bow to tyrants. One Hebrew mother refused to let fear take her son. She placed him gently in a basket and set him afloat on the very river that was meant to kill him. Carried by currents, carried by God, the basket drifted to Pharaoh's own palace. There, the king's daughter found the child. She lifted him from the water and chose to raise him as royalty. She named him Moses, drawn from the Nile. Imagine this irony. The very king who tried to destroy the Hebrews was now feeding, sheltering, and educating the one Hebrew who would destroy his power. Raised among the elite, taught Egyptian knowledge, trained for greatness, Moses looked like a prince, but he never forgot his real people. One day, driven by anger against injustice, Moses killed an Egyptian who was beating a Hebrew slave. Public disgrace forced him to flee into the desert, far from palaces, far from his identity, far from his destiny. Years passed. Moses became a shepherd, a forgotten man in a forgotten land. Until fire that did not burn called his name. The burning bush, God speaking from the flames. A divine assignment, return to Egypt. Face Pharaoh. Free my people. The mission seemed impossible, but God does not lose. Moses walked back into Egypt to the throne of the God King himself, carrying a simple message, let my people go. Pharaoh laughed. Who is this God you speak of? I know Ra, I know Anubis, I know the gods of Egypt, but your God? I do not know him, and I will not obey him. Defiance declared. War started. Not between nations, but between the Creator and a self-proclaimed God. Moses dropped his staff, and it became a living serpent. Pharaoh snapped his fingers, his magicians imitated it. Pride smirked, so God struck. The Nile, the symbol of Egypt's life, turned to blood. Fish died, the river stank. Pharaoh refused to listen. Frogs crawled out of the waters, invading every floor, every bed, every dish. Pharaoh begged for relief. Then changed his mind. Dust became swarming gnats. Flies ravaged the land. Livestock fell dead, boils erupted on skin. Hail rained fire from the sky. Locusts devoured every remaining crop. Darkness swallowed Egypt for 3 days. Darkness so heavy it suffocated hope. But Pharaoh's heart? Still stone. He refused to kneel. Why? Because if Pharaoh bent the knee, he would no longer be a god. His entire identity shattered. Then God warned of the final plague. Death was coming for every firstborn in Egypt. But the Hebrews were told to sacrifice a lamb and paint its blood on their doorposts. When the angel of death passed through the night, every home without the blood suffered unbearable loss. From servant to king, even Pharaoh's heir, his future, his pride died. Egypt wailed. Pharaoh broke. He ordered Moses, "Go! Take your people and leave Egypt." It sounded like surrender, but pride doesn't die so easily. As the Hebrews marched away free for the first time in 400 years, Pharaoh's rage returned. He realized he had lost his empire's workforce. He gathered his greatest warriors, mounted his fastest chariots, and thundered across the desert in pursuit. The Hebrews reached the shores of the Red Sea, trapped between impossible waters and a murderous king. Panic surged through the crowd, but Moses lifted his staff. The wind roared. The sea obeyed. Walls of water rose on both sides, creating a path where no path should exist. God made a way no human could invent. The Israelites crossed. Pharaoh, blinded by fury, charged directly into the parted sea, and in one breathtaking moment, God released the waters. They crashed down like judgment, the mighty army drowned. The God King who demanded worship, who enslaved God's people, who believed no one could challenge his rule, sank under the very waves his arrogance chased into. Silence fell. The empire of 1,000 idols was powerless against a God it mocked. We often ask, which Pharaoh was this? Ramesses II, the builder of great monuments? Amenhotep II, the fierce warrior king? Historians may debate his name, but the Bible isn't telling this story to glorify a pharaoh. That's why his name is forgotten. It is not about the king who hardened his heart. It is about the God who softens hearts and sets captives free. Two kings stand in contrast. Pharaoh, who demanded worship, hoarded power, and oppressed the weak. God, who rescues the broken, breaks the chains, and brings freedom where there was none. This entire battle was a preview of something bigger, a rescue mission that would one day come through another deliverer. A deliverer greater than Moses, a deliverer who would confront spiritual pharaohs' sin, death, darkness, and break their power forever. That deliverer is Jesus, but Pharaoh still lives today. Not in pyramids, not on thrones, but in hearts that whisper, I am the ruler of my own life. I don't need God. I serve my own desires. Every time pride takes command, Pharaoh rises again. And just like ancient Egypt, pride leads to downfall. But God still calls. He still says, let my people go. He still splits seas for those who trust him. He still breaks through what seems impossible. He still destroys the false gods we cling to: money, ego, power, control. So look at your own life. Who reigns in your heart? The Pharaoh of pride? Or the God who frees? When God fights for you, no ocean can stop him. No enemy can trap you. No darkness can defeat you. Freedom begins with a simple surrender. Yes, Lord, I trust you. The Hebrews walked through the sea because they chose to move when God opened the way. Maybe God is opening a path for you right now. This ancient story is not just history. It is a mirror. Pharaoh thought he controlled everything, until he realized he controlled nothing. Don't wait for the sea to crash down to learn that lesson. Now I want to hear from you. What part of this story impacted you the most? The plagues? The Passover night? The moment the Red Sea split? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Hit the like button if this story opened your eyes, and click the button on the screen now to subscribe and join our growing family here on Extraordinary Stories from the Bible. There's so much more waiting for you. Stories that will deepen your faith, challenge your beliefs, and reveal the unstoppable power of God. Don't miss the next video. The next extraordinary story may change what you believe forever. This was the rise and the fall of Pharaoh. Watch the next video.